when I got into this business and I realized, oh, I don't have to just wait for someone to come in the door so I can get paid. I can go out and talk to people and get numbers and book appointments and make phone calls and get my teammates together and call their list. And I can drive activity, which guess what that was? Opportunities for me to make money. That was like a game changer for me. So one of the best blessings about our business is you are in control of exactly how much money you're making. So are you happy with how much money you're making? And if not, guess what? You can change that. And the only way to change it is by having activity. Okay, so how do you create activity? By reaching out to people, And what are you trying to get? You're not trying to recruit them. You're not trying to sell them anything. The only thing you're trying to get is a date and a time. For what? A date and a time to meet with them on Zoom or in person and share with them who we are and what we do. Without a date and a time to meet with somebody, we call that an appointment. You're trying to book an appointment. Without a date and a time to meet with somebody, without appointments, you have no business. And without a business, you have no ability to make money for you and your family. So I'm assuming, at least when I sit down with people, the number one thing that they usually want to help people and make money. That's why they got started here. They want to help people and make money. That's why you got started in the business. Is that why you got started in the business? Raise your hand if that's yeah. And you probably got started here to build a business so that you could have more time and more money. Time and money freedom. Freedom of time and money. Control of those things. Am I right? Okay, great. So aren't you so excited to know that you get to drive your business forward every day and that you are in control of exactly how many appointments you book and exactly how many appointments you do? Now, some appointments are going to get rescheduled. So the more you book, the more opportunities you have to meet with people. Now, let me ask you something. Those of you, how many of you feel like well, gosh, I can control me, but I can't control my team? Like I can book appointments for myself all day long, but for some reason, I have a hard time getting my teammates to book appointments. Anyone ever felt like that? Okay, yeah, okay, some honest people. So I can relate with that feeling. I can understand feeling like, gosh, I got this new fired up person. They're excited. They're a good quality recruit. They have so much potential. But anytime I'm like, hey, let's make calls, they come up with some reason why they can't, right? Well, this is just a really busy week for me. Work's crazy. My kid's been sick. I just don't know that I have any time. Or they might say, I don't have anybody to call. You ever have that? I have a direct business partner of mine, Christina. She's amazing, successful, made 6 figures in her previous career, 2 kids. And we would get on to make phone calls and she would be like, wait, I have a question first. Tell me exactly how the IUL works. And I'd like, okay, I try to answer it and be like, okay, let's get back to making calls. She'd be like, wait, I need to know more a little bit. Like she always had an objection. And then she'd be like, I really don't have anyone to call. And then guess what I did? I got her to Wealth Bowl, to the kickoff meeting in Dallas, 2024, January. She went, her vision was stretched. She got belief. And you know what was crazy? She comes home and all of a sudden she knows so many people. She has so many people to call. I'm like, how is it that she's like, I literally have no one. And then all of a sudden she's got so many people to call. Because the reality is everybody has people to call. Everybody does. So if they tell you they don't, it's not true. There's something blocking them. It could be a lack of belief. It could be a lack of confidence. It could be fear a lot of times. What are they going to think? What are they going to say? I don't know if I'll be able to answer all the questions, right? They have all of this fear around just making a phone call. I have another gal I'm working with direct to me. She lives in Texas. And same thing, she always had work. She makes 6 figures at her job, also has a son, trying to do this business on the side. She just always had a reason, like work's just too crazy. Oh, my son's been extra hard this week. I just can't do it. Well, getting into a class like Elite Circle that we're doing for our hierarchy, there's homework, there's challenges. And all of a sudden, she's just making phone calls and getting activity. And it was like, all she needed was that accountability. All she needed was that assignment. So my point is, if somebody isn't making phone calls, there's something blocking them. There's something holding them back. And we as leaders have to help them. Now, there can come a time where you, like, no matter what you do, your teammate just won't make a phone call. And so I want you to know something that maybe no one ever told you yet. You can make a phone call for them. You can make a phone call for them. Okay. And so this is what you do. You get them on a call. And this used to be the scare when I was a new trainer in the business. The scariest part for me was doing that fast start appointment, that step 3, and making phone calls with my team. I used to be so afraid to do it, but I was taught by Christina Guevara and Jamie Villalobos that if you don't make phone calls for your people, if you don't get them activity, they will die in the business. They will literally die. They will quit. And so my fear of making phone calls was overtaken by my fear of them quitting the business. I was like, if I don't get good at this, if I don't do this for them, they won't ever get out in the field. They'll never get to see what we really do. They'll never have a shot to really build this business. I should have not even recruited them if I can't at least do this for them. I offered them this opportunity and I can't even deliver on it if I don't at least get them in the field and give them an opportunity to see what we really do, to fall in love with the business, to help people, to get over themselves. Does this make sense? So I had so much fear that if I didn't get good at helping people make phone calls and getting them out in the field, that they would quit. That fear became stronger than my fear of actually just making the phone call. And I would force myself to just do it. Just do it. Why? Because I knew Christina would ask me, well, how many appointments did you make with them? And I didn't want to say 0. So I was like, I got to say something, even if I just get 1, And so I want you guys to know that this is actually one of the best blessings about our business, because you need appointments too. And most of the time, those appointments that you book are going to be yours. They're going to be appointments that you can actually go out in the field and make money doing. Does this make sense to you? And so if you're feeling like, gosh, I need to get my teammates out in the field, but I don't know how to do it, get them on a call and just say, I'm going to make the calls for you. There was a gal, Jamie was telling me that she had a teammate reach out to her and say, gosh, I have this new mom on the team. She's a single mom. She needs to make money. She needs this to work. She needs this business to work, but she's just so afraid of making phone calls. I don't know how to help her. And the point is, you can say, listen, I will do this for you. I will make the calls for you. Don't worry. Just give me some names. Give me that list. Let's actually brainstorm some people together. Who is your parents? Who is your siblings? Who are your aunt and uncles? Who are your best friends? Who were your roommates in college? Who was your ride or die in high school? Like, I'm going to call for you. The other thing that you could do is maybe somebody's not afraid, but they're just so busy. They're working a full-time job. They've got 3 kids. They're trying to do this on the side. And you're like, look, I'm full-time. I want to make some money. I want to get this thing going. And you could say, listen, I know you got a lot on your plate. You're at your job all day, but guess what I'm doing? I'm building this business all day long, and I could build your business for you. While you're at work all day, I could be making phone calls to book you appointments for when you get off of work today, tomorrow, the next day. All you need to do, let's brainstorm who I can call for you. Does this make sense? So it might be fear, it might be lack of time, but you still need to drive your business. And so that's where you can make calls for your team. Does this make sense? You don't need to wait around for them. So I'm going to go over what scripts to use today when you're to call your teammates. What scripts should you be using? What should you say when you're calling people for your team? And also, what are some basics of how to make a call, like how to be? Does that sound good to everybody? Okay, good. I'm just going to need a little bit more face to face. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and just show a couple of bullet points. Okay. So these are some standards for calling. Oh, this is not the slide I wanted. Hold on. I was on the exact page that I wanted, and don't look at anything really quickly. Hold on, let me get to the page. I'm so sorry. Just close your eyes because this might make you nauseous. I'm going so fast. Okay, here we go. Some standards for calling. Number 1, smile. the most important thing you could do is smile. Why? Energy attracts people. So when you're afraid, one of the things, like when you speak, even when you go on stage, when you're going to public speak, instead of saying, I'm nervous, start saying, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, because like your brain almost doesn't know the difference of the energy. Like if you say that energy is just excitement, so just be like, I'm so excited to make these calls right now. I can't wait to help you build your business, right? Like start with gratitude, remind yourself why you love the business, why you're making these phone calls. Maybe look at your why, like, look, I'm doing this for my kids, let's go. But if you smile, people can hear that through the phone. So smile. Stand up. I always make phone calls standing up, walking around. So sometimes I get dizzy because I'm like going in circles. I'm like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't walk in circles, but stand up, walk around. It gives you energy. It gives you more excitement. Motion creates emotion. So we always made calls standing up to this day. I still, even I'm calling my team, I'm walking. It's just new phone calls, everything. Remember, the first call is always the hardest. The first call is always the hardest. Just get started. And so what I used to do when I'd have a list from somebody, sometimes I would get nervous and I would be like, I'd want to call like the easy people first. Anybody ever do that? Like, I don't want to call the attorney. I'll call the Jamba Juice worker, you know? And so I ended up, Jamie would tell me that she used to feel that way too. And so she got in the habit of just starting with number one and going all the way down. And so I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Instead of like picking the easy ones off the list, I was like, I'm going to start at number one and I'm going to go all the way down. And the first one's always the hardest, but then you just get on a roll. Now you want to stick to the scripts, but you don't want to sound scripted. Does that make sense? So make it natural. Practice beforehand. You say it once or twice first and then make the phone call. Have the script in front of you. Use it as a guide, but don't sound like you're reading it, right? It needs to sound natural. Another thing is it's remember, you're not trying to close them on anything. They're not trying to, it's an invitation, not a presentation. All that you're closing them on is an appointment, a date and a time to meet with you. Does that make sense? Okay, so track your calls. You don't want to lose potential clients and business partners. Track who you called, what happened, what was the date, when did you book the call for? Did you say you'd call back? Did you leave a message? You know, make notes and track your calls. Hold yourself to a minimum standard. How many phone calls you'll make every day? Or how much time. I used to call it my 15 minutes of focus. I knew if I could just do 15 minutes of focus, I would do this in my car. I was a waitress, so I'd be in my waitress outfit, and 15 minutes before I had to be in there, I'd sit in the parking lot and I would make 15 minutes of contacts before I went in. And then when I got out of my job, I'd sit in my car, and before I could go home, I'd make another 15 minutes of contacts. I'd drive home, and before I walked into my house, I'd make another 15 minutes. And I did that 4 times throughout the day. So that 15 minutes of phone calls turned into 1 hour every day of making calls. And what I found was I could get behind 15 minutes. And sometimes before going into my house or before eating dinner, I would do that. My 15 minutes would turn to 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Why? Because the first one's always the hardest. And then I would just get on a roll and I'd start getting responses later on, and then I could respond, right? So hold yourself to a minimum standard every day. Consistency always wins. And then never hang up without an appointment set or a time to follow up. So leave the ball in your court. So for example, let's say you make a call and they're like, oh yeah, maybe it's a personal call or maybe it's for your teammate. And they're like, yeah, I totally am willing to hop on a Zoom call and see what you're so excited about. But this week's really, really busy. It's too crazy. And maybe they're brushing you off. And you go, no problem. You know, how about I give you a call next Monday and we'll set something up for next week, and you leave the ball in your court. I'll give you a call next Monday and we could touch base and set something up for next week. Have a great week. Can't wait to catch up with you next Monday. Does that make sense? So you're always either getting a date and a time for appointment or setting a time to follow up. Does that make sense? And you're leaving the ball in your court. You're never saying, all right, well, let me know when you're available. Text me when would be a good time. They won't, right? The other thing that you could do is remember when you're trying to get a date and a time, let's say they go, you know what, I got to check with my spouse to see when would be good for them. What you say is, oh yeah, definitely check with your spouse, but just curious, always. I'm always like, just curious. Just curious. When are you guys typically together? Are you guys typically together like in the evenings after work, once you put the kids to bed? Yeah, usually. Okay. So typically evenings are usually best for you guys. And like, do you prefer doing that? Like, are you guys best kind of before dinner or maybe once the kids are already in bed? Once the kids are in bed are kind of nice because then we can focus. All right. Is that usually like 8 or 8:30? Like just usually. Yeah, 8:30 is usually good. Okay, great. Like, is there any day that doesn't work? Oh, Thursdays don't work. We have our small Bible group Bible study that we do. Okay, great. So maybe like a Wednesday or what Monday or Wednesday is usually better. Why don't we just tentatively say Monday at 8:30? Check with your spouse, confirm that that works with them. I'll text you tomorrow just to make sure that that's good, and that would be great. Does that make sense? Do you see how you're not like you're just trying to get it going? Like, I'm super busy. Well, when usually is it better for you? Daytimes or evenings? Well, daytimes are kind of better because my kids are in school. Okay, great. So usually like early mornings, maybe 10 or 11, is that usually good? Yeah, 10's usually good because I do my workout class at 8:30. I'm home by 10. Okay, well, why don't we just tentatively say, like, let's say would Friday, like tentatively Friday at 10 be good? Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's just pencil that in and I'll text you later to confirm once you have a chance to look at your calendar. So do you see how you're just trying to get them to get a date and time? Right? So never hang up without an actual appointment or a time that you're saying, I'll follow up with you then. All right. Now, this could be for personal or a teammate. Okay. So these are just some basic standards of calling. Now let's talk about the words, the scripts that you can use to call for your teammates. Now, the script that when you're brand new in the step 3 and that fast, remember we do the project script? But you can honestly do this for somebody. It's the same words, but you do it for them. Let's say they're like, now usually with their closest people, that's usually the easiest call for them to make because it's the person closest to them. But if they can't do that, like they're just too nervous, you could just call up their sister or their best friend. And let's say I'm going to call Pamela and I'm going to say, hey, Pamela, I'm working with Christina and she said that you guys are best friends. So I always get some information about who I'm calling first and foremost. Like, how do you know them? When was the last time you spoke to them? Have you told them anything about what you're doing yet? Do they know anything at all? What does she do? Does she have kids? Like, I'm trying to get a little bit of background info beforehand, so I'm not going into the call totally blind. Tell me 3 good things about Pamela. What are some really good things about Pamela? She's driven, she's hardworking, she's super energetic. Okay, great, perfect. So now I'm going to call Pamela and say, hey, Pamela, my name's Johanna Mockett. You don't know me, but we have a mutual friend, Christina. And Christina told me that you guys are best friends. So you actually met in high school and you just totally hit it off and then have been best friends ever since. And she actually told me that you're one of the hardest working moms. Like you've got kids, but you're just such a driven, hardworking mom. She said you're one of the hardest working moms she's ever met. And then Pam was like, wow, that was really nice of her to say that, right? You go, well, my name's Johanna Mockett and I'm working with Christina. I don't even know if she's even had a chance to tell you yet, but she just got started working with me. And I'm so excited to be working with Christina. She's excited too. She just got started and she actually wanted to call you. She's been super, super busy. So I said I would just reach out. I'm actually in charge of kind of getting her business off the ground. And we're looking to just kind of hop on a Zoom call. We were hoping we could hop on a Zoom call with you, just like 20, 30 minutes, and share with you what she's so excited about, this new industry, new project she's working on. Would you be willing to hop on a quick 30-minute Zoom call just to hear what Christina's so excited about? And Pamela's probably going to say, sure. I'll go, great. Well, what usually works better for you, daytimes or evenings? Daytimes? Okay, great. Oh, my son naps at 11. Perfect. Why don't we do 11:30? Would that work? Okay, great. 11:30. I'll send you the Zoom link. Christina's going to be so excited. I'll put us in a 3-way text right now and we'll all hop on tomorrow at 11:30. Thanks so much. Can't wait to meet you face to face. Right? And then I'm going to send the Zoom link with Christina and Pamela, either email or text it together. So that's the project one. You can do this same thing and make it if the project, maybe you feel like you want to do more of like a training appointment, this is a really great way too. Now I'm going to do the same thing. So this shows how somebody can say this for themselves, but you can say this for them. Just instead of me, you say them. So I'm going to use the same example. Hey, Pamela, how are you? My name's Johanna Mockett. We have a mutual friend, Christina Guevara. You know Christina? Yeah, she told me that you guys actually know each other from college. You were roommates. That's so awesome. I love that. I don't even know if Christina's had a chance to tell you yet, but she started working in a new company. And actually, I'm in charge of her training. She's super excited about it. She's going through the training process right now. And I'm in charge of kind of helping her get her business off the ground and get some practical field training. And I've got her calendar right here. And she says that she really just values your opinion. She wants to just show you, what she's doing, get your opinion and feedback. And maybe in the future, you could send her referrals. Would you be able to hop on a quick 30-minute Zoom call just to help Christina with her practical field training and see what she's so excited about? And Pamela's going to say, sure, right? This is her friend. I'm going to go, great. I know for Christina, evenings are best for her. Is there any evening, maybe in the next day or so, that you'd be able to hop on just for 30 minutes? And maybe Pamela says, sure, yeah, I could do tomorrow night. Great, 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock, right? And I'm going to give her alternative of choice, right? I'm trying to help her find a time that works. So if I go, tell me when you're available, she's going to say, never. But if I go, what's better for you? Evenings are better for Christina. Could you do Monday or Tuesday? Okay, great. 7 or 8, right? And I'm going to book a time. Great. I'm going to send you the Zoom link in a 3-way email with you, me, and Christina. Can't wait to meet you. So do you see how this is the field training that I'm excited? I'm in training. I need your help. I'd like your opinion. Maybe you could give me referrals, but I'm just doing it for my teammate. Isn't this so powerful? So your teammate could be working all day and you're helping them get appointments and lining up their calendar and yours. You're driving both of your businesses forward, okay? So all of these scripts, Neil, maybe if you could put in the chat, these are all on the RFM website in the agent toolbox. You can literally download them on your computer or print them out, have them in front of you, and just change the words. Instead of me, it's for your teammate. Does that make sense? Okay, the next one, and this is a good one to use if you have more experience, okay? Once you have more experience, you start building your team. It's the 3 good quality script. Now, to be honest, I built my entire business using this Help Me script right here, the TE Thor, or the Help Me script, we used to call it, and the 3 good quality script, like whole business. So this is a really great one to use to also make calls for your team or for other people. So when would this be a good time to use it? Let's say I'm talking to Christina and I'm like, Christina, you're building a business. And when you're building a business, what you need is people. You need good people. Because you can do good things on your own, but you could do great things with a team of people. So if you were to go into business with anyone, like of all your friends and family, if you were to go into business with anybody, who would you want to be in business with? Who would you want to be in business with? And let's say we'll use the same example. Christina says, Pamela, my roommate from college, Pamela, I'd want to be in business with her. And I'd say, well, why? Tell me 3 really good things about Pamela. She goes, well, I trust her. She's got a lot of strength of character, a ton of honesty. I really trust her. Okay, great. And I'm going to write that down. She's very driven and very hardworking, the hardest working woman I know. Well, that's a great quality. Okay, great. And you know what? She's just one of those people with contagious energy. She walks in the room. She's got high energy. She's enthusiastic. I think she'd just be great at this business. Perfect. And I'm going to write that down. Do you know? And then I'm going to ask her a little background. Do you know what she does currently? I don't even know what Pamela used to do, so I'm just going to make it up. She works in customer service for a hotel and management customer service for a hotel. Great. Perfect. And so I write that down. Do you know, does she have kids? Yeah, she has, Pamela, you have 1 or 2? One daughter? That's right, she's so cute. So 1 daughter, and I'm gonna go, perfect. And she's married? Great. What does her husband do? I don't know, he does something in IT. Okay, sounds good. So I call up Pamela and I go, hi, Pamela, this is Johanna Mockett with Revolution Financial Management. I was referred to you by Christina by Christina Guevara. How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm great. Listen, I was speaking with Christina and I was sharing with her that we are growing and expanding and looking for good quality people. And she mentioned you right off the bat. She told me that you're very honest and trustworthy, that you're the hardest working woman that she knows, and that you just have this contagious energy and enthusiasm. And she said all those great things about you. And then Pamela's like, wow, that's really nice. I go, I know, I thought so too. And based upon what she said, honestly, I really don't know a ton about your background, but based upon what Christina said, I was like, I got to give her a call and I got to find out, like I said, we're looking for good people and all those qualities are exactly what we're looking for. Tell me, what exactly do you do currently? And I want to ask her a question. I want to connect with her, right? Just very brief. She goes, well, actually, I'm in hotel management customer service. Awesome. Great. I'm sure you have a lot of experience with people. She's like, I do. I bet that's why Christina gave me your number. Now, this is what I'd love to do. I'd love to find a time to get on a Zoom call and get to know you a little bit and also share with you a little bit about who we are and what we do and what we're looking for and see, if there might be a good fit. Are you open to that? And Pamela goes, sure. And she's open to it because she's friends with Christina, so she trusts her and she's feeling good about herself. And she's like, yeah, why not? What do I got to lose? It's a 30-minute Zoom call. And I go, perfect. What's your schedule typically, your work schedule typically like? Like, when are you usually available? She's like, well, I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. But I could stick around work a little bit before heading home to be with my daughter. I could probably do 5, like 30 minutes and then head home after that. And I'll just stick at work. Great. So how about 5 o'clock tomorrow? Tuesday. Would that work? 5 o'clock Tuesday? She goes, yeah, that'd be great. Perfect. I'm super excited. I'm going to send you the Zoom link. In fact, I'm going to have Christina on the call with us too. She goes, okay, great. All right. We'll see you then. So do you see how I can make the calls for my teammates using these scripts? So now what happens? I let Christina know, hey, Christina, while you've been at work, I booked you 3 appointments. We've got an appointment tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And before I do this, I get Christina's availability so I know when I can book her appointments. We have an appointment with Pamela and tomorrow at 5. And then I will coach Christina, hey, if Pamela reaches out to you asking, what is this? What's going on? I'm going to tell her what to say. Just say, yeah, I just got started working with a new company. I'm really excited. Johanna's awesome. She's coaching and training and mentoring me in this new industry. And she mentioned that we're looking for good people. I immediately thought of you. And she's going to do the takeaway. I have no idea if it's a fit or not, but based on the qualities they were looking for, I thought of you. I pass along your contact info. And Christina can even mention that to Pamela before I call or after, when Pamela reaches out and says, hey, I just got a call. What's this about? I'm going to tell her exactly what to say, to pre-frame it or to what to say after. Does that make sense? In fact, I do think pre-framing it with a quick text is a great idea. I might tell Christina, hey, listen, text Pamela really quickly. Hey, I just got started working with a new company. I'm working with the amazing, beautiful, funny gal, Johanna Mockett. No, just kidding. I'm going to say I'm working with an amazing, successful entrepreneur in the industry new industry. Her name is Johanna Mockett. In fact, she shared with me that we're expanding and looking for good people. I immediately thought of you. I passed along her contact info. She's super busy. I don't even know if she's going to reach out, but if she does, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Take the call. So now Pamela's expecting my call. That's even better. And you can tell them exactly what to say in the text message. So I could have Christina, before she goes into work that day, text 5 people that pre-frame script. And then later in my day, when I'm doing my 15 minutes of focus, I reach out to those people and they're more likely to respond to me because they've been pre-framed and I've been edified a little bit. And it's not like a cold call. It's a warm call. Does that make sense? So it's so easy for me to get that date and time, but Christina doesn't have the pressure of answering any questions. She might be nervous. I knew, what if they ask me a question that I'm not familiar with? She doesn't have the pressure of getting the date and time. I take on that pressure for her. Does that make sense? Now, this is for somebody that has more experience. You've been in the business for a while. You know how to close on an appointment. The first skill that we want to teach you in this business, and the first skill you want to learn, is how to close on an appointment, on a date and time. That's the first most important skill. And so this script is for you if you already know how to close that. Does that make sense? So today we went over how to make calls for your teammate. We talked about how you can do the project script for your teammate. We talked about how you could do the help me T-Ethor script for your teammate. And we talked about how you can do the 3 Good Quality script for your teammate so that you can what? Help them get activity and build their business forward, which ultimately helps you get activity and helps you build your business forward. So this shows that there's no reason not to be booked out every day, especially if you're full-time in this business, like with appointments. I want to tell you one story and then I'm going to bring up a panel. I had a gal on my team named Nicole. She's actually my exchange leg when I hit senior marketing director. And she, didn't have, she did all the, like she booked field training appointments. She had, gone through her warm market to do field training appointments. But she was just so hungry and driven and wanted to win so bad that she went out and she started to prospect. And there was a Starbucks right by our office. And she went to the Starbucks and we were young, okay? We're like 22, 23 years old. And so we were always taught to get into a better market. So she saw this older gentleman, kind of had grayish white hair. And he's like, oh, he's older. I should prospect him. He's in line at the Starbucks. She's in line. And so she goes, hey, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I do security. She's like, oh, awesome. How long have you been? She's just trying to make conversation. How long have you been doing that? He's, oh, forever. Really? Well, my company's growing and expanding. We're looking for good people. I don't know if it'd be a fit or not, but why don't you give me your number and I'll pass it along to my supervisor. So he goes, sure, gives a number and she passes it along. I make the call and I do the 3 Good Quality script. Okay. And he says, yeah, I'll come down. Now we were doing in-person events, a BPM, a business presentation meeting at our office. So I invite him to a Tuesday night. He shows up and he's dressed in a suit and he ends up getting started in our business. But he's kind of an awkward guy, a little bit weird, a little bit, just a little bit eccentric. He gets started on our team and he doesn't have really a market. He doesn't really have a market at all. So Nicole, we had something called Phone Zone. She invites him to Phone Zone. He comes and she's trying to get names from him. And he's like, he wasn't married. He didn't have kids. He's like in his 50s. Just kind of an awkward guy. And she's like, his name's Tim. She's like, Tim, there's gotta be somebody that that we can call. And he goes, well, I actually have this box of business cards in my trunk that I've just collected business cards from people I've met along the years. She's like, that is a gold mine. Go to your trunk, go get those business cards. We're going to call them, which is basically like cold calling. Okay. So he's like, okay. But she had nothing else going on in her business. She was like searching for anything, just wanting to drive it forward. So he goes to his car, he gets a box of business cards, he brings it up to the office. She's like, Tim, this is incredible. This is going to make you millions of dollars. She's selling him the dream on these business cards. And so she pulls out the business cards and one by one, she starts calling these business cards. And she's like, hey, my good friend Tim gave me your business card. He said he met you at the kiosk at the mall. You know what I mean? Like just anything. So there was one business card from T-Mobile and this gal was named Debbie. So she calls this T-Mobile card. And this is what I'm saying about just there's so many ways to create activity. She goes, my good friend, my friend Tim my business partner, Tim, gave me your business card. It shows like you work for T-Mobile. He met you a while back. She's like, yeah, I don't know if I remember Tim, but and Nicole's like, well, regardless, we're growing and expanding. We're looking for good people. He said great things about you, that you're very personable, hardworking. Do you keep your business options open? And Debbie says, yeah, I do. And she goes, great. Well, we're having a company overview this Tuesday and one on Saturday. Which would work better for you? Tuesday at 7 or Saturday at 9 a.m.? Tuesday at 7. Perfect. Here's our office address. We'll see you then. Debbie shows up. Debbie sees the overview. Debbie gets started. Debbie's a young gal, probably, she was like in her early 20s like we were, but she has parents. So we sat down with Debbie and we did a fast start appointment, a step 3. And we said, we got to get you out in the field. Let's show your parents what you're doing. We call her parents, book her a field training appointment. Christina Guevara does that appointment. Christina was my SMD at the time. And Christina does a financial plan for her parents. I mean, her parents were, her dad was an engineer, super technical Chinese guy, you know, super like good quality, just loved his daughter, wanted to help her win. He becomes a client. A couple weeks later, Debbie's trying to get into Elite Circle, and she needs a business partner to qualify for Elite Circle. We're like, call your dad, get him to the office. Let's recruit him to be a referral partner. So literally, like, she has to get a business partner that day. We get Tom, her dad, to the office. We sit down with him. We're like, if you want to help your daughter, you could be a referral partner. Here's the way to do it. He's like, yeah, sure, sign me up. He gets started. Well, because of our system, I'm like, well, we need to fast start you. So why don't you come back on Monday? This is a Saturday. Come back on Monday. We'll do your fast start appointment. Well, in the interim of that and his fast start appointment, we used to get three character references when we recruited somebody. One of those was his friend. I called up that character reference before his fast start appointment on Monday, and I booked him an appointment with his character reference for that Thursday. So Tom comes in. I'm like, Tom, good. You know, I'm fast starting him. I'm like, good news. You actually already have an appointment for Thursday. He's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you called my friends? I'm like, well, you gave me them as a character reference. So yeah, he's like, I don't want to actually do this. I'm doing this to help my daughter. And I'm like, well, they will help your daughter. I was like, well, listen, your friend said such great things about you. Just do the appointment. It's already booked for Thursday. Just do it. He's like, do not call anybody else. I'm like, okay, I won't. He's like telling Adam, your wife is insane. This actually happened. This is true. Christina does the appointment with his friend. It goes so well. He's like the successful businessman from China. It goes really well. Tom legitimately does the business for a long time, becomes one of the top non SMDs in Team Revolution. Unfortunately ended up fading out, but this was my whole exchange. Like, we recruited Bill Walker from that, you know, incredible, amazing men. Bill Walker's now an SMD, you know, on Christina's team, and just a huge leg of good quality people from this business card in the trunk of Tim's like car. So this is what I'm saying, guys. There's gold all around. You just gotta call them. So I want to bring up three people that are incredible examples.
Johanna, before we hear from them, can I just add something?
Yeah.
I want to share with you guys really quick, if I can pull up my screen. So I want to do this really quick. So you guys, oops, not that. This. So I want to reiterate from last week. Remember, we said prospect is the first phase, which is what? Remember what prospecting is? Does anybody remember from last week? Anybody?
Getting a name and a number.
Gathering names, right? And that we're adding names every day through all these different ways that you guys learned last week. And then the next step is what? Inviting. And there's several ways to do that. And Johanna's kind of going through all of that stuff with you. But the invitation, I like when she said it's not a presentation, it's an invitation. We're inviting to set up a presentation. And sometimes that's live in a BPM, and sometimes that's Zoom, or could be we go meet up at Starbucks. I don't know. And then from the presentation, hopefully we either go into the next step, which is step 2, which is going to the recruiting side, or step 4, which is the financial education. Remember, this, or both, right? And then from there, we follow up. If we follow up for an AMA with a new recruit or a client, with the sale. And then if they come aboard, we do startup. And we start them up. We do their fast start. And then what do? We help them to prospect, and we help them to invite. And that's why she was going over how to help them invite if they're having trouble on their own. And we set up presentations so that we can help build them a team and help get them promoted and help get them clients. And we do this over and over and over till we get to the last stage, was when they have duplicated us, where they can do it like we do it. And so it's really important that we keep it very, very simple. So I just want to show you one more thing to make it really clear in everybody's mind. And then I want you to hear from these 3 awesome leaders. Sorry, my voice is kind of going. Why is this not working? Oops. No, I don't want to share my screen. There we go. I don't know why that was being weird. Here we go. So The TE Thor, I personally hate if you're calling for yourself. I think we take that completely out and replace it with the project script if you're calling for yourself in your hot market. So last week we talked a little bit about cold and social. We talked a little bit about that. And we talked also about like what remember Adewale's doing? He's following up with warm market and he's prospecting as he goes in the cold. But then we also heard a little bit from Susie, who's doing a lot on social. There's lots of ways to gather names. But when you call, let's just really focus on those two things, hot and warm. That's when you're calling for yourself. These are really the only two scripts that you should be using. It's called the project script. This is for the hot market, warm market. So you should have this, but if you don't, take a screenshot, okay? So that's calling for yourself. And then Johanna introduced one other script. Well, I guess two, the help me for somebody else or the 3 good qualities for somebody else. And so those are when you're not calling for yourself, hot market or cold market or social. You know, those are when you're helping your teammate who's stuck, like Johanna said. So Neil's going to put them in the chat. I think he already maybe put 2 in the chat, but the help me for somebody else, Johanna said so nicely. But I wanted to say it one more time so you hear another person say it. The help me for someone else is I have, let's say Megan's my new base shop. Megan's one of my new directs, and I have her list. And I'm like, hey, Haley, listen, your friend Megan gave me your number. She says that you're her best friend or you're her, sister. And she's really started the project in a business with myself. And I'm in charge of helping her get her business off the ground. And when she wants to show you what she's doing, she's really excited about it. We're wondering if you could jump on a Zoom and kind of run it past you and get your opinion. And maybe down the road, if you felt comfortable, hopefully you could send Megan some referrals. If nothing else, it helps her with her training. So it's just basically like doing that project with a little help her. You're her best friend. You're her mom. It mixed in. Okay. The other one is the 3 good qualities. And I loved how Johanna said, this is how I built my business, because this is how I built my business. I love the 3 good qualities script. It is a wordier script. And someone put in the chat, like, I always get tripped up. That's okay. We always get tripped up. The nice thing is the prospect does not know the script. Only you do, right? And you actually could have it written down in front of you and you could be reading it because you're on the phone. They can't see you. I like how she said, smile, keep the calls under 2 minutes. But 3 good qualities. Again, if you have someone, now this would be someone in your team that's maybe been around a while and they're very good at this business, but they're just in a slump and you want to help them get momentum back. Or it could be a new person who's terrified of making phone calls, or just you want to grow your business and you don't want to wait on someone else to take action, right? Every person on your team, every list there's an SMD in there. There's an SMD somewhere in there if you will make that happen. And so the 3 good qualities call goes like this. Hey, Johanna, how are you doing? You don't know me, but Bryce gave me your number. I told Bryce I was expanding and looking for good people. He mentioned you. He said that you're a phenomenal leader, that you're a hard worker, that everyone loves you. You're just a great person, high integrity, Christian, just this wonderful, wonderful, caring person, but that you also are working as a waitress and that maybe you were looking for something new. But I don't know, what exactly do you do over there? How long have you been there? Make small talk, whatever. You don't have to, but just stay in control of the conversation. You can follow the script exactly if you want. But then they say, yeah, I'm a waitress. I've been there for 4 years. Okay, amazing. Well, listen, don't know if we're a fit for you or honestly, if you're even a fit for us. But based on everything Bryce said, I thought it makes sense I'd give you a call. But I'd love to jump on a Zoom 20, 30 minutes and show you what we do. If not, at very least, we start a friendship. What's your schedule over there? Oh my gosh, my schedule's crazy as a waitress. I work all weekend. I work blah, blah, blah. Okay, well then, what's your first day off? Maybe Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday, okay. You want morning or afternoon? Afternoon. Okay, 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock. So just some tips on making phone calls, like give them alternative choice, right? So you say, what's usually your schedule? So now they say, if they don't say, can you come on Tuesday, when they work on Tuesday, right? What's your schedule? I work 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Okay, well, it sounds like probably afternoons or evenings and weekends might be best. Yes. Okay, well, let's see. How about Thursday after work or Saturday afternoon? Which one's better? Thursday. Okay. What time do you get off? I get off at 5:30. What time do you think you'll make it home? Would 6:15 work? Or do you need it to be later? 6:15 works perfect. Great. So help them out in booking those appointments. Does that make sense? So we'll give you those two scripts. Three Good Qualities is wordy. I love this script. It's an aim at recruit. You're in a recruiting conversation. If you have someone like Johanna said, what you brought on board that says, I would love to have this guy on my team. He's amazing, but he will never listen to me and I'm too new and I don't know what to say. That's the one that you just want to call right away. So going back to our system now, before we turn it over to these guys to give you a bunch of tips on this, go back to our system. New person comes in, right? New person comes in. We help them to get comfortable making phone calls. They can do it through text or phone calls, but I prefer phone calls, where we make at least 5 phone calls and book at least 1 appointment, at least 1. So I honestly want to book 3 appointments for step 1. And what script we use with that new person is they use the project script. They use a project script with you there, helping them, coaching them, giving them feedback, making them feel comfortable. If they will absolutely refuse, then you will do the 3 Good Qualities or the Help Me for their people, and you're still going to book those 3 appointments. The appointments still get booked, those with the new person. With those appointments, we try to help them at least get their first business partner, and we get them licensed in 2 weeks. We get them their first promotion to associate. Once they pass their test, we sit down and we do the marketing expansion plan, what I just showed you. We show them all those different markets. We help them identify all their different markets. Maybe they go to church. Maybe they used to go to college. Maybe they have people in their neighborhood they know. Maybe they have kids on a baseball league. What are all your markets? That's name gathering. That's prospecting with them. So we prospected a little in the beginning, a lot once they pass their test. We gather those names, and then we make a ton of phone calls together. They may be making some, they may be using project. You may be making some, you may be using 3 Good Qualities, other things, but you're going to make a big fat list of probably 100 people with them. And then you guys are going to call together and try to book 30, 40 appointments. And you're going to start now inviting and presenting and following up and doing a bunch of appointments, step 1, 2, 4, all these things, so that by the time they are appointed, so that they can make money, sales are written and they become what we call a net license. So I wanted to tie that all in together so you can see where these scripts might work. I just don't want any of you guys sitting there like, okay, I've run out of people to call. Well, you haven't. Like Johanna said, you probably haven't. But I don't want you to have people on your team feeling that way. And you're just like, okay, show up to the meeting. Okay, get licensed, where it's your job to help them create the momentum. It's your job to help them to be excited. And I'll just remind you of the story I told last week with Hannah. Do you guys remember it? Maybe that was an elite circle, but I still told the story of Hannah where she was new and I would just get names from her and call them. And she wanted to quit all the time, but she couldn't quit because she always had appointments. She always has new people coming. She always had a new recruit. And so I did that all the way till she was an SMD. And even if she had quit, I had built a big team of future SMDs from it. Does that make sense? So, okay, go ahead, Johanna. Let's turn it over to these guys because these guys have been doing amazing with this.
Yes, thank you so much, Jamie. Okay, so we're going to bring up, if we can highlight Pamela Spence, Anthony Agugliaro, and Christina Guevara. Agugliaro, did I say that wrong? These are just amazing leaders who are really good at driving their business and helping their teammates get activity and helping them just get results. So if we can start, we'll just go in that order. We'll do Pamela, then Anthony, then Christina. We'll close out with you. Can you share with everybody just how you are helping your teammates get appointments? Like, what are you doing to make phone calls for them or helping them get appointments and drive their business? And then once Christina's done, remember, stick around. We're going to go back to Mike Holm. He is going to close out with some announcements and those amazing raffles. So don't go anywhere. Okay, Pamela, we'll start off with you.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, Johanna killed it. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, everything she said. That is how you build a business. And we went over the scripts and everything. So I'll just kind of point out, I think the most important thing that she said in her talk today is that the person that's going to keep getting more names and numbers, it's because you have a dream and you want something to happen, right? And so when she was motivated to get a promotion, to build her team, to build her business, it was like that do or die mentality, attack, I'm going to make it happen, no excuses, we're going for it. And so it's the momentum starts in the mind of the leader, right? If you want to win, you're going to figure out a way to win. For me, I knew I had like no market. I had 25 names. Half of them I borrowed from my roommate to make sure it was 8 pointers. But I was like, I got to make the most of this list. And so every single list that I got, because I knew that I didn't have a ton of people to go back and talk to. What I mean by that is sometimes I think, and I see that, oh, I have hundreds of people to talk to, and you just don't run the system. You're not saying the scripts, and then you screw up one top 25, and then you're like, oh, I'll just try again. Like, no, practice on your cap, practice those scripts, like listen to your leaders, make the calls. What we like to do is do calls with our teammates over Zoom. I want them to hear me make calls. Lewis, my husband, he's in the field, he makes a lot of calls. He listens to the team make calls, and we make these calls together, because you're going to field train on everything, right? And if they're making mistakes or they're doing something, you can just put them on speaker and you can jump on. But just, you got to keep activity going. If you have someone that's like, oh, I don't have names, like strategize with them. Like, hey, let's figure this out together, right? There's millions of people in the world, right? You don't even have to leave your freaking bed. You can just turn on your phone. And if you say you have no names, you have a Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have access to millions of people just on your phone. So we kind of like to do, I prefer if there's some form of edification prior to me making calls. So we do they join, they're passing their test. We do the 3 to 5 appointments with the project script, right? We get that activity book the second week. They're passing their exam, and we are doing that second fast start immediately, and we're name gathering, and we're getting a tons of names and numbers, right? In between, most of our guys are on social media. I want them to share, right? Tag me in their story, okay? I want them to say their license. I want them to start to have a new identity and take that on early on, because that's where that top 200 is at, more than likely on their social media, right? So at that point, it doesn't matter if they haven't talked to them 3 to 5 years. If that prospect, right, that's on the other end is watching that story, they're going to have some type of curiosity. That's human nature. Human beings are curious, right? We want to know what people are doing. And most people, they're spending all their day, hours and hours a day on social media. Why? Because they have a life that sucks, right? They're not happy, right, with where they're at. They want more. And so they're living vicariously through all these influencers and all these people, right? So I want them to, we used to call it reverse taproot, right? Like, take your team to the leader, right? You can do that. Your team can take them to you, right? Like, share your SMDs, your upline, whoever. Jamie, I use Jamie's social media all the time. I'm like, this is my mentor. I was broke. I knew nothing, right? Like, she changed my life, right? She's an author now. This is why I am where I'm at, right? So some form of edification, so they have a name. So when I call and I do that 3 good qualities, they're like, oh, Pamela, yeah. And they're like excited, okay? Or, oh, Lewis, yeah, right? Latino money expert, right? Like, that guy's killing it now. So they have some idea of who's calling. I think that creates more activity that holds, right? So that's something we do. And that's it for me. I'll pass it on to Anthony.
All right, I just muted myself. I'm dying laughing. You're like, they're on social media because their life sucks. Pam and I have been talking a lot recently. We would qualify for events together. Now we're working on some stuff together. Actually, the 3 of us are working on stuff together with some of the other leaders, and so I've learned a lot about Pam. And she's got a little New York in her as I've gotten to know her a little bit. She's a firecracker, man. No, I mean everything that everyone said. Johanna crushed it. I mean, she gets up there and she talks. It's funny. Pam said in the group chat where we don't even need a panel right now. You guys just got gold. I guess just tangibles on how to make it work. One of the things that we're doing a lot of right now is number one, simplifying. I don't know if I can share my screen, but like this is, you guys can screenshot this if you want. It's not new, right? Some of you are going to be like, this is the craziest, newest thing I've ever seen. Okay, I got it. Where is it? I got it from this crazy book, which there's going to be some cool stuff coming down the pipe here, but it's called the BFS. And some of you guys have never seen this before. Some of y'all should dust off your BFS. Like, this, if there's dust on your Bible and your BFS, that's probably why you're getting your ass kicked in this business. But
we are recreating it, and we should have a digital new BFS by Wealthful.
exactly. But this is what we show some of our newest business partners. And it's nothing new. Guys, this is the system, right? That Rich and Monty and these guys did. Prospecting, approach, and contact goes to a presentation. You're either doing a step 4 or you're doing a step 2. You're onboarding that person, making them a client, and then you're duplicating that process over and over and over again. And you're basically just running people through this filter. That's what this, it's just constant, right? And so, but notice, and this is the part that we really drive home with our team, prospecting and approach and contact are 2 different things. They're not the same step. So prospecting or phase of the business. Prospecting happens before you make the phone calls. Approach and contact is the actual phone calls. And what we're talking about today is that approach and contact. And all of your approach and contact should end with one of 3 things: an invite to a BPM, a one-on-one booked, or a referral.
So approach and contact is now referred to as just the invite or
Yeah.
inviting.
Right. And so what we're doing with our team, and just because I don't think anybody mentioned this yet, one thing that I love to do is phone zones. I miss phone zone. But phone zone isn't the same on Zoom. It's just not. When I was in the office, me, Joey Martins throwing foam footballs at each other every time one of us booked an appointment. We're putting names on the board. We were telling some of these stories to Jamie in Dallas. She was dying on the couch. I mean, but you don't have that in the Zoom era a lot of the time. So how do you recreate it? Well, if you do a phone zone and you have 30, 40 people on Zoom, people are going to hide. I was a teacher, okay? And in a classroom of 30 students, 28 of them are not paying attention. So you have to do it in small groups. So one of the things that I did is, and I'm only working in my base right now, right? Because we're trying to hit CEO. I got to get 3 more
I
SMBs
love
out.
this, you guys. This is so good.
What I'll do is I'll post my Calendly. I just started using Calendly for this, but I wasn't using. Now I am. And I'll focus on a leg of my base shop per day. So, Monday might be Kat Hernandez's team. And I'll either meet with some of her teammates one-on-one and do a phone zone just with them for 15 to 20 minutes, or I'll have 2 to 3 of them on. We'll do like 1 or 2 minutes of teaching and role play, and then we will start rolling out phone calls or 3-way text, or I'll make a call for them, and then they're listening to me do the 3 good qualities call, or they'll make a call in front of me so I can, right? We can't improve you unless we observe you kind of thing. And what's happening is, okay, that was Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to go into Pauline's team. And Thursday, I might go to Kirby. And Wednesday, I might go to, and I'm working through each small leg through these little groups of phone zones. Here's the nature of the business, guys, and human nature. Most of y'all are on this call saying how great this training is. This is amazing. Oh my God, I've never seen anything like this, even though these scripts have been around since the dawn of time. And you've like all this stuff, and you're going to log off, and you're not going to do anything. And then you're going to wonder, man, why isn't it working? You're not working. It's that simple. I've never met someone, Monty taught us this. You cannot consistently do the right things and fail. But I have seen someone consistently do the wrong things and never win. And if you're not making phone calls or reach outs or prospecting not sometimes, every single day, just a little bit. Imagine you just set a standard for yourself that I'm going to get 2 numbers a day. And I'm going to make 5 to 10 phone calls a day. If you just, that tiny little standard. And if you're not doing it as the leader, what do you think your team's doing? Your teams are like your children. I'm about to have a kid, so I'm about to experience all this. Your kids are going to do all of the good things that you do, but a little bit less of them. And they're definitely going to do all of the bad stuff you ever did and way more of it. So if you're not making phone calls and you're not prospecting and you're not doing mini phone zones, you can't turn around and tell your team to go do it. Because the kind of guy I am, I'm immediately going to look at you and go like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you got to set the pace for me. You got to set the example. So just to give you an example of the power of this, we have a girl in our base shop. Her name's Kat Hernandez. She's one of my former students. Some of you guys have had the pleasure of meeting Kat. She's only 22 years old. You'd never know it when you talk to her. And Kat had nothing going on in her business. So much so she texted Jamie and said, I'm going to go get a job. And Jamie's like, are you licensed? And she's like, yeah. She's like, why don't you just go make money with your license? And so Kat calls me and she's like, Jamie said this. And I'm like, yeah, that's my coach, man. She's going to be pretty direct with you. Like, let's go get the license to work. So what she did was we started phone zoning. She started prospecting. She started networking. She started making connections. We had a live event in New York. She had 11 guests to it. From those 11 guests in the past month, okay, she's gone extremely wide. She's gotten at least 15, I think 16 base recruits. She's added 7 licenses to her team in the last 2 weeks. Now, what does she do with those guys? She repeats that same process. Chris Ramers on her team has had almost 11 appointments this week, and it's his first week license. Bianca on her team got licensed in her first week and has 3 or 4 appointments booked. Why? Because Kat's on the phone with them every day or on a Zoom trying to make 2 to 3 to 4 phone calls. And that's it. And the last thing, just to touch on what Johanna said, and it's interesting. Like if you watched Mike Tyson last night, it broke my heart. He's like my hero. I don't know if you guys see it. That's a signed Mike Tyson boxing glove. It's like one of my most valuable possessions. And I might have been wearing that while watching the fight last night. I'm not gonna lie. But Mike said a famous quote. He's like, everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. A lot of us put these plans together of like, I'm only gonna call this type of person. I'm gonna look for real estate agents. I'm gonna look for this. I'm gonna look for that. You got to wipe all that from your mind because none of you would have had a Jamie Villalobos on your prospect list then. And you probably wouldn't have had a Christina Guevara. You definitely wouldn't have had a Pam Spence or me. We were like, I was a teacher, right? And I was a punk at 22, 23 years old when I was recruited. So you've just got to talk to everybody. But here's the other thing. If you have people on your team that are apprehensive to making phone calls, you really got to address that very directly, in my opinion. Don't sugarcoat it. Just ask them straight up. Are you afraid we're going to try and sell them something? What is it about our system that has you questioning rolling it out to the people that you care about? Like, you've got to get to the bottom of it. But the other thing is, if you yourself are having trouble prospecting and making phone calls, I know a lot of people, like Johanna's very positive motivation. I'm David Goggins type motivation for myself. So if you read David Goggins' book, he does this thing in the mirror where he like literally stares at himself in the mirror and calls himself a little B word and like, why are you being a baby? Like, that's how I motivate myself. That's why, like, when Jamie coaches me and she tells me I'm amazing, I'm like, Jamie, I don't need it. Just tell me I suck and I'm going to work harder. But honestly, what I would do, just play this little activity with me. Go open your bank account. Go look at how many of your family members are struggling. Go look at your parents. If they're still working, how do you live with yourself? Is your parents' house paid off? Do you still have massive debt? Are there people sick in your family that you could pay for those medical bills, but you can't because you broke? Like, those are the things. When every day that I question making a phone call, Brian used to do this simple thing to me. He said, you know how good it's going to feel when you get to take your dad off the back of that newspaper truck? Because for me, every day I woke up and every day I didn't do work, that was another day my dad had to work. So I don't know what you got to find inside of you to get you up to make calls, but like maybe it's looking at your kids. Maybe it's just opening, like the fun activity I had when I was younger in this business. I had no money in the bank. So I'd open it and go, yeah, still zero. And then start hitting the phones. So whatever it is, that you've got to get centered on that. And then something else, a little line you could put in when you talk to people. When we're building people, when I'm fast starting somebody, I say, hey man, what's your dreams and goals? And they go through it. I mirror it back to them and I repeat it. And I say, hey, you're 14 to 15 licenses away from that dream. The key is the first license is yours. And then we got to build the other ones around you. So the making calls becomes about getting as many licensed agents to build their dream life with. Hopefully that helped you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you. I'm going to kick it on over to the great and wonderful Christina Guevara.
Oh my gosh, so good. You guys have such great stuff. I'm taking notes. That's the first thing is you guys got to be like, school's never out for the great ones. So you see the numbers dropping. It's because people need to be more focused. Let's go. Ready? I'm excited. Yes, I'm the sweet one, but apparently I'm phasing. I don't know. Couple things. please write this down and don't just listen to us. This is about making a difference. So for those of you guys that are listening to me, the number one skill you need to transfer in the beginning is the ability to make a phone call, and to get a result in that is booking an appointment. Don't overthink it. I promise you, if you're shy like I was so shy. The phone was like Jaws to me. I was like, I don't want to make a phone call. If I made a phone call, I wanted them not to pick up. I was like, please don't pick up. Please don't pick up. If I thought that, you probably thought that too. So here's what I love about this. First thing, if you know me, I'm always talking about mindset. You have to go into making phone calls and understand that this is the mentality. Jamie taught me this. Everyone wants to make passive, massive income. That has to be in your mind, in your mantra. Everyone wants to make more money. Everyone needs what we do. If it's not them, it's who they know. Stop going into the call with like, oh, they're a recruit. Oh, they're a client. No, just book the appointment. Ed Milet says, the person that books the most appointments wins. Write that down. The person that books the most appointments wins. So you know what's so cool about that is that if your business isn't going the way that you want it to go right now, guess what? You could take one new contact and look at that as a market and make phone calls and become a millionaire this year. And I wouldn't say that lightly. That's what's so inspiring. For those of you guys that are shy, not booking appointments, call me if you need help. Call your leaders because we want you to win. All right, here's tips and tricks because you got to write this down. Get their schedule before you start making phone calls. My objective is, like Jamie said, I'm going to book 3 to 5 appointments in the next day, like 24 hours, preferably 24 to 48 hours.
Christina, you mean get the trainee schedule?
The trainee.
Yeah,
sorry,
okay, that's what I thought.
Yes, get the trainees schedule. So if I just recruited Mike Holm, Mike, hey, what's going on today and tomorrow? What's your schedule? Okay, I've got work 9 to 5 and tomorrow 9 to 5. Anything else? No. Okay. When's your lunch break, Mike? I even want to know his lunch break because if I could get a 15, 20-minute call in there, I'm going to do it. So get their schedule. Next one, get those names. Listen, your ability to get those names. When's the most excited that someone is? When they're brand new, when they just do their AMA. So here's what our team's been doing. Hey, I know you just got started. We're excited. You're excited. Okay. And I'm going to put my head down and go, who needs to see this? Who are you thinking about when you were like, yes, this is awesome? Who's your dream team? Who are some people that you know that are hungry, driven, smart? Don't ask them who's broke right now and needs to make money. No, that's that. Who's hungry? Who's driven? Who do you love? Who do you know that knows a lot of people? I'm going to try to do like a mini phone zone before I even do that fast start step 3 tomorrow. My intention is to go into tomorrow with their fast start step 3 with appointments booked. Hey, Anthony, we have a 5, a 6, and a 7. You do? Yep, we do. All right, so be a list builder. Always think in your head, even if you're shy like I was, your ability to be successful is to make a list and add to it and never, ever eliminate, have no outcome. It was crazy listening to Johanna because it was like listening to myself in a Twilight Zone. Have the scripts ready. So these are tips. I have the script saved in my phone in a note section so that if I'm fast starting somebody, I want them to have that 3-way text because you do not want to let them figure it out. Oh, this is what I said to Joey. I said, hey, Joey, I just started this thing. No, preparation, right? The ability for you to be prepared and to send that to your teammate. And it also, when you do that, it creates a confidence in them, right? Because it's predictable. Next one. Shoot, I have so much and I don't have a lot of time. So the 3-way text, let's talk about phone zone. I like how Anthony said, he does, or I think Pam, group phone zone. So here's what I do. I do an individual phone zone if I can right then, but I also do, let's say I'm doing an individual phone zone. I'll text the team and say, hey, Pam, everybody jump on my Zoom right now. I'm about to make phone calls. I want you to listen in. I don't care that they show their camera. They're just hearing me make calls, Mark. So I'm banging out a bunch of calls, boom, boom, boom. And I'm putting on speakerphone. And what are they listening to? Me say the same thing over and over and over. And then they're hearing a result. Yes, I want to book an appointment. When? Tomorrow at 4. When? Today at 6. What that does is it creates confidence. So I just did one for a brand new girl that we just recruited last Monday. She got her license Wednesday. That's 9 days. She came to an overview. But what I wanted to tell you guys, we made 4 phone calls, I think. And we had 2 people on that call listening to me. Both of those girls not only jumped off the call, like they posted, hey, I got to go. They called their new teammate, Pam, and was like, I'm going to book a phone zone right now because what they did is they saw me do it. Yes, 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 yes. And said, now here's my new girl, Heather. She's not new, but she's awesome. But she's in a, coming up. She now saw me do it. You guys, transfer of skill. She saw me do it and I got result. She goes, I could do that. You see? So today's call is not about the leadership. It's about getting us to get as many people as we can to be confident to do it on their own. And if you just simplify, multiply, it's a lot better. Now let's talk about another thing I do is Google Drive. I do shared Google Drives with my team, because if you're like in sticky hell, don't do that. You're like, oh, your team has how many times, right, Anthony? You're like, I gave you this number. Oh my gosh, and my 5,000 text messages, I'm going to lose it. So that's just something that I've been doing, is doing a Google share drive with that new associate and going, here, I'm going to share this with you. You're going to put all your names in there. As you add, you can be like, hey, can you call number 9 today? Sure. Right. So that's something that we do. Let's talk about, Jamie wanted me to mention, what happens when you make a call and it doesn't go the way you want it to. Like this in your notes, you got to pivot. Just pivot. Like you started as a 3 good qualities. Hey, you know, I was given your number by Pamela, and they're like, no, not interested. Oh, you know what? Sounds like you're actually pretty fortunate that you love what you do. Did she tell you anything about what she was doing? Pivot to booking an appointment. She's really excited. She really values your opinion. She's actually getting her business off the ground. She'd love to share it with you. Can you jump on a quick call 20 minutes today? Pivot, right? So that's what you do when it doesn't go the way that you wanted to. Energy is everything. Book the appointment the same day or the next day. Don't book it for a week out. Tone and delivery. I would teach your training associates SOD. I don't know if you guys, so scenario of disaster. We don't have time today. I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing anything, but mentality. Always remember, if it's not them, it's who they know. Your objective is just to book the call, guys. Don't overthink it. That's it. Get the appointment, put into BSV Pro, and we match it up. I listened to this last, I'm going to say, it says, discipline is doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. I'm going to say it again. Discipline is doing what you hate to do. Phone calls, maybe for you, but doing it like you love it. That's what you have to do to be successful. Guess who said that? Mike Tyson. I'm going to say it in the way that he would say it. Discipline is doing what you hate to do. I'm kidding. That was for you, Anthony. So love making phone calls. I love making phone calls. I love it because I know that I'm one phone call away from an explosion. I'm one phone call away from changing that person's life. And that's my mentality, is my phone call ability, the ability for me to make as many calls as I can and get as many people as I can to make phone calls is the ability. That's the success level of my business. And that's how I'm going to change people's lives. Not my license, not knowing the presentation. It's my ability to book activity. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Hope that helped.
So awesome. A lot of people talked about the 3 good quality script and how they love that script so much. And I love that script too. But honestly, I just want to say that the best script to use is the project script. Calling for your hot market, your warm market, the project script. Why? Because if you call with that script to your hot market, it works 100% of the time. None of the other scripts work 100% of the time. The other ones work some of the time, a lot of the time, but the project script works every time when you do it to your own warm market. And so I know it's the scariest one though, because it's your hot market. So, but you guys are all awesome. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to you, Mike.